Hi, this is Richard from Garden Elf, and I'm here at Wanganui Collegiate to share with you a design that the students have put together here for a aquaponics system to grow some cuttings that they are going to put into new food forests that they develop into different sites. They have been working on a couple of different projects here. They designed a chicken mandala vegetable garden system, and you can see the mandala in the space up the top there, and as well as using that mandala to move some chickens through an annual garden bed, they're going to also move that mandala through different areas they want to develop into a food forest. So to produce their own plants for that system and not have to buy lots of plants all the time, they've set up this aquaponics system to supply those plants, and to also, role model how you can create an integrated system using the fish in this case for the fertility and the cuttings in the glasshouse to make use of that fertility to grow a product, in this case the food forest plants, and also to cleanse the water and provide a better habitat for the fish. So looking at how these systems can integrate together in cohesive and collaborative ways. The design here involved digging out a series of ponds. So this is one of the ponds here that they've dug out, lined with some plastic. They used some cement to line the outside of that plastic with some stones from a nearby river. The fencing, they have made use of some local bamboo, brought a little bit of fencing, and then just used some twisty ties to secure the two, so it's quite a easy to use material that the students could get their hands in quite easily. The water from this pond comes up from the glasshouse, so as the water from the glasshouse goes down through the base of the glasshouse, because the glasshouse has been dug out and lined as well, there's an underground channel that feeds down into this pond, and then the overflow of this pond goes through another underground channel to that pond, where the water is pumped up into the glasshouse to water the plants. When they designed the glasshouse system here, the soil that was excavated out of the glasshouse they also used to set up this food forest system here. They initially had some broad beans growing in here to improve the soil quality by fixing some nitrogen and obtain a yield from the broad beans, and then coming up through that as they've harvested those and chopped and dropped them, some food forest plants. So there's some hazelnuts and berries and feijoas and mandarins and peaches and some apple trees as well, and they've had a look at how to propagate some different plants as part of the establishment of the system. So some of these plants they planted really deeply, and as they rooted some of the side branches, they were able to propagate the plant. So here you can see one Chilean guava here that was buried extra deep, and as they roots they divide the plant up and they plant the new plants in this food forest strip that they've established here. So in the glasshouse here, they dug out the site, they lined it with they lined it with plastic and filled it with the gravel, so that as the water gets pumped up and goes through these grow beds, it drains down into the gravel, which then feeds into the first pond. There's a solar panel here, a 12-volt solar panel to power the pump that's in the pond, and there's a battery there that the solar panel provides the power into. So when it's, got a bit of a busted pipe here. So the water from the well, I'll have to fix that in a sec. But the water from the pond gets pumped through these misters here. So the idea of the misters is they create a nice fine watery mists, which is ideal for the propagation of cuttings. It's kind of creating a nice humid environment here that the cuttings can grow from. And they've looked at propagating some different food forest plants, some olives here and some berries and hazelnuts and guavas and some herbs as well. And what they've been growing it in is this very fine gravel from a nearby stream, and the texture of that gravel is quite good. It drains really freely, so as the water's pumped up through the stones it drains nicely, but being quite dense it also holds onto the humidity quite well, so they don't dry out too much if they go without water for a couple of hours. What's really nice about this system with the solar panel powering the pump is that it's going to work harder on a hotter day like today than it is on a cooler day, so it self-regulates a little bit the amount of water that's going to be pumped through the glasshouse. So if you need more water because it's hotter and the plants are going to wilt more quickly, then there's going to be more water supplied by the solar panel, and it kind of self-regulates itself that way. So that's been working quite nicely. We've had a few issues with these misters clogging up a little bit, so we've installed a couple of filters in the line to remove any of the solid debris that's in the water that's pumped up from the pond, and we need to secure that hose a little bit more tightly so that doesn't happen. Luckily we got into this before these plants dried out, otherwise that could have been worse. So yeah, it gives you hopefully a bit of an idea about how you can set up an aquaponics system. Normally the aquaponics, the tanks for the fish are in the glass house itself, so they're just under the grow beds, and then you don't need such a powerful pump or a solar panel because you don't need to draw it from such a far away pond, and you don't need to pump it quite so high. So yeah, normally you'd have the tanks for the fish underneath here, and you just pump up from those tanks into these grow beds and have a bit more of a simple system, but we wanted to create something a little bit more elaborate and interesting for the students by doing this. So yeah, if you have any questions about this, or you'd like to have some system designed, we're at Garden Elf, we design and install different regenerative foodscape systems for schools or urban backyards or small farms. Our website's www.gardenelf.co.nz, or you can reach me at richard@gardenelf.co.nz. Alright, hope to hear from you soon. Bye.